guys getting shot. I saw a video recently where, the cop tells him, "Let me see your license." The guy goes to get his license and he shoots him 4 times.
Well, wait, there's a really good one where this guy's in a car accident. The car's flipped over, and the guy jumps up through the. It was a car accident. The guy jumps up through the window. The car's on its side, and the cop shoots him.
Amazing, and you got to attribute that to the climate of law enforcement. But in addition to that, it comes down to training. Where's the training? Where's the restraint? I think you don't shoot first and ask questions later. You ask questions and find out what's going on before you ever even consider shooting somebody. And it just seems to me that it's 180 outright.
And one more thing, too, that we have today that we didn't have 30 years ago was all these cops, these young cops on steroids and HGH and testosterone when they don't even need it, man. And they're pumping themselves full of this stuff. It's just a whole different kind of attitude. Now, you've been around a long time. When you were a kid coming up, how many times did you get into a fist fight with a cop and you didn't get shot?
Oh, I'll tell you, in front of the clubhouse one night, one of the guys started arguing with the cop, and, the cop took out his club and, beat him. We jumped on the cop. We didn't attack the cop. We jumped on the cop to stop him.
All right.
Because the cop had lost control. And you know what? Nothing even happened. The cop actually got reprimanded because he escalated the whole. It didn't need to happen. But do that nowadays. Jump on a cop.
No.
You're going to get killed. You're dead. And in the old days, and I don't think this is happening much. And I don't know. Maybe you've heard about this as well. I remember the old days, cops taking off their badge when they had a personal issue with somebody. And I've seen more than one guy's step around the back of the police car and fist fight.
Sure.
You're never going to see that happen nowadays either. I can remember cops uncuffing people and asking me, "Take this jerk to the clubhouse and sit on him all night till he sobers up." And so the whole police, the way you interact and whatnot, it's changed. And part of the problem nowadays, I think, too, is you got a lot of people in law enforcement that take this stuff personal.
Right.
And when you start taking the stuff personal, you lose sight of what you're trying to do. It becomes an obsession with you. And
another thing, too.
That's no good.
I grew up in Staten Island.
That's no good.
Yeah, I grew up in Staten Island. A lot of cops live in Staten Island. See, they were your neighbors. You had friends that were cops. Your uncle was a cop. You had a cousin that was a cop. Best man at my wedding was a cop. Okay, now here in Henderson, Nevada, where I live now, you don't meet any cops. They only associate with themselves. They socialize.
Cops.
They socialize among themselves. They don't get involved with anybody that's not a cop.
No, and it's very interesting. I've watched these younger cops. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them have the mentality, and I've had them tell me this before. My gang's bigger than your gang.
Right.
And they mean that, And a lot of the older cops I talked to. I ran into one of the old chief of police from Ventura here a while back, and we wound up getting a cup of coffee and talking for about 45 minutes. And he just said it's a completely different world for him. He goes over there now, and he doesn't know anybody. That the new chief doesn't know all of his officers. There was one time there was. There was like 10 guys on the Ventura Police Force. They knew all of us. We knew all of them. They all interacted with each other. They weren't afraid to stop by the clubhouse or get seen in front of the clubhouse. Nowadays, you talk about club members being offended that you're talking to a cop. Nowadays, the cops are offended if they're interacting with people who aren't cops.
Right.
cop come by the clubhouse and hang out, or just to see what's going on, check out the bikes, and he gets ridiculed.
And it's funny too, because so many cops ride bikes.
It's a strange world.
Yeah, so many cops ride bikes.
No, I know, and there are one of the things I still haven't figured out. There are some law enforcement motorcycle clubs, and some of them have seen too many movies. I think they've seen one too many episodes of Sons of Anarchy, because they're conducting themselves like outlaw motorcycle clubs. And it's just ironic to me. Somebody sent me a disc, and it's probably 5 to 8 minutes long, and it's a law enforcement bike club. They're wearing cutoffs. If you were to look at them and not know that they were a cop club, you'd think they were an outlaw bike club. They took over the gas station. They were taking pumps away from people, not letting them pump gas. They were, filling all their bikes up. And, I was just astounded that they, were conducting themselves like that. And, this guy wanted me to do something with it and expose it somehow, but I just never got it off the ground. But it was an interesting 8 minutes of film.
So now today there was an incident in, Denver, Colorado?
Denver, Colorado. There's a big bike swap meet there, one of the biggest in the country.
Okay.
And there's not a lot of details about it, but 1 dead, 9 stabbed, and I'd heard the Mongols were involved. And I know there's banditos there. I know there's also Hell's Angels there. So they said that 2 groups kind of ran into each other, and all hell broke loose. So I'm sure we're going to find out as the weekend progresses. But it sounds like it might have been, another club-type conflict. Any
update on that situation down in Waco?
Well, they, being law enforcement, are sealing a lot of the stuff. I don't think the ballistics has been released yet. They, moved forward indicting some people. They indicted Jeff Pike, who's the international leader. He's the national leader of the Banditos out of Houston, and 2 other. I think the vice president, national vice president, and the national sergeant at arms. They indicted those 3 guys since the shootout. But, there's really no new information. And, a lot of the stuff, there's gag orders on a lot of the stuff. But I would not be surprised when all the specifics and the ballistics come out that there was 9 dead. I suspect that 8 of those people killed were killed by law enforcement.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see. It'll be very interesting as that thing progresses. Now, this thing, it just happened just a few hours ago, so it's very sketchy. There's not much information on it.
It doesn't seem to be anything on the news either, because they're covering all the election stuff. Hey, speaking of which, who are you endorsing?
Something really important.
Who are you endorsing, Chris? George?
For
president, who are you endorsing officially?
Who do I endorse?
Yes.
Well, I certainly don't want to see Donald Trump.
Good.
The guy's a carnival barker.
I agree.
I know I'm probably upsetting some of your audience, and
not my audience. No.
I don't. I hope not. But I would be, and I'll tell you how I go about I can't vote.
Okay, I know. I was going to say.
So what I do is I look at both parties, and I pick a Republican who I'd be okay with in the White House, and then I pick a Democrat that I'd be okay with. And I'm going to have to go with Clinton. And who's the governor, the Republican governor?
Huckabee?
It's really low on the...
Oh, Bush? Bush?
No, not Bush.
Bush, Huckabee, Kasich, I think, is the governor. Kasich?
Casey.
Yeah, Kasich. Yeah, a lot of people like him.
I've listened to him, and I kind of like some of the things. I don't agree with. I'm more, lean on the Democratic side, but I could live with him in the White House. I can live with Hillary in the White House. I think Bernie's a little out of touch as a leader, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
How about yourself?
I love Bernie, man. I'm for Bernie all the way. We got to take down the 1% and get a fair shake for guys like us. Turn this thing around.
I'm concerned about his age. He's 74. I guess they say he's in good health.
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you straight up. I've been at 3 of his rallies, up close where I could reach out and touch him. He's a guy with a presence. He has a big physical presence. He's a stout guy, very, very. I'm not concerned about his health at all. He's a very impressive guy as far as his health and his strength goes.
Oh, that's good to hear because I got to tell you, I think he's got a shot.
So do I. I think he has a very good shot.
I really think he's got a shot. Trump just scares me.
My God, I could tell you stories about Trump all day. But now listen, let me ask you a question. Now, because we only got 19 minutes left, and the last time we were talking, you said you had some information about the story of Charles Manson and the Satan's Angels. What can you tell us about that?
Well, it's the straight Satans.
Oh, straight Satans.
And back in the early days, like when I first started writing, there were small outlaw clubs that were called one-percenter clubs. And the Hells Angels were a one-percenter club, the Question Marks, the Satan Slaves, and there was a club out of Venice called the Straight Satans. And initially, are you familiar with Ventura County at all, or the coastline?
No, not really. No, very little.
There's a place. It's changed a lot, but there was a place near Magoo Rock. They used to call it Tin Can Beach, and it was just full of trash and tin cans. People use it as a dumping ground back in the old days. Well, in the '60s. I rode by there one time, and there was this big tent city, and Charlie Manson had his family down there, and he got run out. The Ventura police ran him out. He had a problem. You know that famous photograph of him with the crazy eyes?
Yeah.
That was taken here in Ventura County. The district attorney that came after me, Mike Bradbury, prosecuted him back in the '60s. And then it was too much heat in Ventura County. So Charlie took off to Spawn Ranch. And what happened was he started hanging around San Fernando Valley. Well, the outlaw bike clubs, the one-percenters are running around there. And Danny DiCarlo became friends with the Manson family. And some people actually, even though he was a straight Saint, considered him part of the Manson family. And what happened was there was a drug burn for some mescaline, and one of the guys got killed, and I can't remember the names. It's been a long time since I've studied this stuff, but they killed one of the Manson family guys killed this guy that sold him the bad dope. And as the investigation unfolded, Danny DiCarlo wound up ratting on Charlie Manson and the family about this murder, and that led them to the other murders. And it was everybody in the outlaw motorcycle community got really mad at the Straight Satans. And there's an argument as to what happened. The way I had it told to me, I was just kind of coming up in that world at that time, so I wasn't in the room, where the people were in the know talking. But everybody went down there and closed the Straight Satans down because Danny DiCarlo embarrassed everybody. But Danny DiCarlo and the Hells Angels, the Satan Slaves, and the Question Marks, they all used to go up to Spawn Ranch because of all the girls. Charlie would let the girls party, and Charlie would pass the girls around as party favors. So everybody liked to go up there and hang out with Charlie. And Charlie, I think, in a obtuse way. I don't think he overtly told people, but I think somehow he thought he could use the outlaw bike